income inequality or work inequality? We hear it all the time from people like Bernie Sanders, who say that America now has more wealth and income inequality than any other place on the globe, and that the gap between the rich and the poor is growing. They make statements like no one who works 40 hours a week should be living in poverty. But is this the reality? Is everyone working the same, but some are just falling victim to a rigged system? When we look at data from the U.S. Census Bureau on households broken down into various income quintiles, we see that the number of households in the bottom quintile who have 2 people earning an income is significantly less than every other income quintile, including the top 20%. Also, the number of households where no one is earning an income is extremely high in the bottom quintile, while this same statistic is the lowest once we move to the top. Additionally, the bottom 20% of households have just an average of 0.4 earners per household, while the top has 2 earners per household, over 4 times as many. Unfortunately, the story continues when we examine full-time workers. The number of households where the head of household is working full-time is extremely low in the bottom quintile, while this number peaks in the top quintile. This shows us that perhaps we should be looking at work inequality rather than income inequality as an explanation for our economic woes. Almost always, the solution is to tax and take more and more resources from the successful to give to the less fortunate, and to get the rich to pay their supposed fair share of taxes for things like roads, highways, police, and our children's schools. But this is not the solution if you want vibrant and sustainable economic success for everyone. Because those at the top work more, you're essentially taxing the productive activity that drives the economy. This productive activity creates jobs for our neighbors who create the goods and services that we need. This in turn drives the engine of economic growth and creates a feedback loop which increases the living standards of everyone, not just the rich. It's imperative that we foster productivity in order to grow the economic pie rather than focusing on how we divide it. Speaking of economic pie, when we look at total federal income tax liability, we see that the top 20% is paying over 90% of the total federal income taxes. When we contrast this with the total share of income, we see a massive disparity. It's important to note that any group at the top of an income distribution is going to pay a far higher percent of taxes than the rest. But we have to ask ourselves, what is a fair share? And more importantly, should we focus on income redistribution? Or should we focus on things like job creation, productivity, and in turn creating a bigger pie? Given the work inequality between the top and the bottom, the answer is clear.